Everyone's overlooking us, says Ben Roethlisberger. There's a lot to unpack in what he just said. But Jeff Saturday, are you buying that? Are we overlooking the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I am buying it. Listen, man, everybody's kind of got on this train of just bashing the Steelers. Their offensive line was soft last year. They played poorly. Everybody understands that. Schematically, from an offensive perspective, you're throwing the ball dang near 50 times a game with a guy who had an elbow reconstructive surgery the season before. And by the way, they were 11-0 at one point. Did they hit the skids towards the end of the season? Absolutely. But with this defense and Mike Tomlin as their head coach, to be dismissive of this team, I think is foolish. This team, if they get and find a structure for an offense that can be complementary to that defense, this team can make noise. And by the way, they would still have a chance to win the division. So don't just cast this team off like they're going to be trash. I do not buy into that. I agree with what Roethlisberger is saying right here.
Kimberly, why did you look so skeptical?
Because how can they? He's saying they're being overlooked. We literally are looking at we are looking at you. I was at that game where they lost to the Browns in the first round. Like, this is an 11-0 team that was viewed by the end of the season as probably the softest 11-0 team. You know, we saw them lose to the Browns. Big Ben, Pouncey crying on the bench. You know, this is what we're all looking at. This isn't, you know, we just woke up one day and decided to question the direction of the Steelers. You know, Big Ben had to take a pay cut in order to stay with the franchise. Juju didn't get the big money that he was expecting in free agency. There are a lot of questions about where this team is headed post Big Ben. He's got this year. So them being overlooked to me seems a bit overblown. I think there are obvious questions. And when you look around the AFC, everybody's gotten better. So the question is, how good are the Steelers going to be? That's what we want to know.
That is the question. Mike Tannenbaum, what's the answer?
The answer is Jeff Saturday's completely wrong. The Steelers are going to be bad this year and it's going to get worse next year. That's despite, I agree with you on Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach. But if you go back to last year, Ben Roethlisberger was 31st in the league in yards per pass attempt. He cannot get the ball down the field. They were bad on the offensive line last year. They have a new left tackle, a new center, replacing two really good players. It is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And here's why. Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, they're going to keep getting better. They're young, ascending quarterbacks. Pittsburgh doesn't have a succession plan, and Ben Roethlisberger's at the end. They made a fatal mistake. They are paying Ben Roethlisberger for what he was, not what he's going to be in 2021.
It's a fascinating question. Jeff, I'll
Mike
give you the final.
loves talking about the Steelers.
Well, look, he was right.
Just the facts. Just the facts.
So we can say, I told you so, everybody. Yeah, that's why.
No.
Jeff, final word, go.
Let me say this. This could be my first. Mike T is high. And let me tell you why, Mike T. You're betting against Tomlin. He took Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph and made them a formidable opponent in the NFL. This is what happens in May and June and July. Everybody falls in love with rosters. Mike T used to design them. They're all beautiful until you got to go play. Mike T is about playing, and he gets those guys, he gets the most out of his teams, and he asks, hey, when we hit the field, men, it's no back down. That's the type of mentality that makes a team that might not look great on a roster good on a football. I'm buying Mike T and the way that he's run his team.
To be clear, he's talking about Mike Tomlin as Mike T, not our Mike T. I got to leave it there because we've got others standing by. Stand by. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.